Tomorrow evening, Alan Bennett presents the story of another prisoner of conscience at 5 to 8 and again at 11:15. Tonight's Talk of the 80s follows Weatherview Now with Suzanne Charlton.
Good evening to you. Well, we're now just over into December, so time to look back at November's weather, and starting off by looking at the rainfall. Now, in the first half of the month there was some rain in most parts of the country, but after that it really did start to dry up. In fact, over the whole month up at Glasgow, for instance, there was just 30% of their average rainfall. On the other hand, at Nantmore in North Wales, 8 inches of rain fell in just the first 10 days. Now, Nantmore also came up trumps as far as the temperatures were concerned, because on the 13th up to 18.9 degrees Celsius, 66 degrees Fahrenheit. And that's the latest date, the 13th of November, that we've ever had a temperature that high recorded since about 1906. That was a little bit of an exception though. Mainly across the country, temperatures were fairly close to average. And the sunshine, well, that was above average across much of the country. In fact, it looks like it could turn out to be one of the sunniest Novembers this century. And just taking one example, that of central London there, 109.9 hours. In fact, a fair number of places in the south had around 110 hours. That is 164% of their average, and that's the sunniest since records began in central London in 1929. Now, of course, yesterday it was the St Andrew's Days up in Scotland, so let's take a look and back and see how they fared. A mixture, some sunshine, some cloud. Tiree and Stornoway there coming out top of the table at 8 degrees Celsius, 46 Fahrenheit, but poor old Glasgow really was trailing along just 2 degrees even during the afternoon. A very chilly day there after a cold night, and of course another cold night to come too now. Well, it's this huge area of high pressure that's still bringing very cold, crisp weather overnight, a lot of frost and fog as well, and tonight's going to be certainly no exception to that. So you can see here those blue areas showing where we've already got temperatures down below freezing, and they'll continue to plummet, I think, right the way through the rest of the night. Temperatures getting down to around -7 in parts of central Scotland. Generally -3 isn't going to be too far from it, and some parts of the Welsh Mountains, South Wales, South England, easily down to around -5. But if you're around the coast, then not too bad, temperatures staying just a few degrees above freezing. Generally though, a hard frost tonight, and that does mean we're going to see some icy patches on those untreated roads, particularly near some of these eastern coastal areas where there is still the odd spurt of rain coming along there. Now, of course, not just ice, but fog is going to be a problem tonight. There are already some fairly thick fat patches out there. They'll continue to thicken up, spread out, becoming dense, and patches of freezing fog are likely by the time we get through to tomorrow morning. And really, it's only some parts of Scotland and down that east coast, parts of the extreme southwest, that you can't rule out any of that fog. Just to emphasise, a very cold night, and even by around 9 o'clock tomorrow morning, when most people are out and about, still going to be below freezing. In fact, although there'll be a fair amount of sunshine around again tomorrow, I think some of those fog patches, though they'll begin to disappear, one or two may just hang on right the way through the day. Some of the cloud in the northeast of England just pushing across and giving the odd shower in parts of the northwest of England there. Generally though, quite a lot of sunshine apart from that northeast corner. Temperatures, well, I'll leave you with a look at a rather cold day.
Now on BBC2, tonight's Talk of the 80s with Judith Hann.